official name of this podcast? I keep getting it wrong. Tea? What is it?
It's Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. Which is
Comic-Con.
Right, so we are now 5 minutes away. So at which point we can now start sharing and letting everyone know that we're live. Which I will now do to my social media as well. You may notice a slight change to the countdown. I've got a date on there and a countdown, 45 days to go. Good Lord. So yes, we are going to be joined by a couple of guests today, which I'm very excited to talk about or talk to. We are waiting on one of them, and as soon as Andy shows up, we'll crack on with that. But yes, just a couple of minutes to say hi and also get ourselves the Q&A up and running for the chat room. Fair few already, good Lord. Okay, so no, bear with me a second. Good grief. Just turned it on and there's the pop-out chat and oh, there's loads. Good morning, nerds. Hello, Kitty, how are you? Graham Small, very good evening to you. Andrew English, hello from London. Have you been to Collectomania? Or is that no, that's Birmingham. I tell a lie. Aaron Neighbours, hola from sunny, gloomy San Diego. Good Lord. Who else we got? Aaron Neighbours, welcome. Graham. Girl Michael P. Good morning from Colorado Springs. Super Catchy, hello there. Stormy start to the day here in Kansas City. Cool. We've got sun here in the UK and it's surprising the hell out of us. And you can tell because, well, strange things have happened.
That will be interesting.
Yes, it brings the lunatics out, does good weather.
Well, that's that apt description of lunatics from last night.
Mad dogs and Englishmen, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, what we're looking for everyone to do now is while you're watching, grab hold of the YouTube link, share it on your social media feed, and let's get some involved and introduce everybody to the hangout. Graham Small, storms and witches and stuff. Yes, I think we're basically implying that Super Cat Chick's house is going to fly away. Another thing that I could ask, if possible, we are starting to get ourselves together when it comes to putting the iTunes version of the Hangout up online a couple of days after we go live. If you could subscribe and leave us a nice, cute review on iTunes, it really does help, especially with spreading the word to other people. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, we have music fading out. Basically,
and we have
we got Andy.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I'm late. It started to rain, and like it's always a bit harder to try my bike in rain weather. So I'm like, guts to get to the show. The show must go on. Let me see. Is there a YouTube link I can share to my followers?
Yes, indeed. I put it on the thread, the behind-the-scenes thread.
Okay, I see.
Yes, because what our audience doesn't know is, as well as the YouTube chat, we also set up a behind-the-scenes thread so we can all talk about you behind your back.
You monsters talking about me behind my back. Who do you think you are? Let's see. Is it one on Twitter that's supposed to be a behind-the-scenes chat?
There is indeed.
I don't see a YouTube link though.
Right. Bear with me a second, then I will sort that out. First things first, let's turn that off, the screen sharing. And plug myself in.
Put on your hat.
There we go.
Where's your hat? You need to have the hat on.
That is in the car. Oh, bear with me a second. Ice cream. I want ice cream. We have ice cream. Oh man, it's freaking a lot of people out that we've got actual sun here in the UK. It's very, very strange. But there we go. Right. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Leonard Sultana, and we've got a packed show today, so we are going to dive straight in. But we have ourselves a couple of rather fine special guests joining me. As always, my partner in crime is Alyssa Franks from the Friends of Comic-Con Forum. Hello, Alyssa. How are you?
I'm well. Again, another week of relatively slowness after all the sales. We are starting to get our badge review of the badge process article that we do traditionally every year, where we've compared about 250 different data points that were voluntarily submitted to us. Hopefully this article will be ready to go later on, either this week or the beginning of next. Mark Comic-Con Dad has been doing a fabulous job putting it together. It's really coming, but I'd like to see if we can get some input from CCI. So that's where moving forward, you know, as you said earlier, 45 days.
Well, yes, indeed. Let's just remind ourselves it is indeed 45 days to San Diego Comic-Con 2016. It is getting closer and closer and closer, and I am nowhere near ready. It's just ridiculous how ill-prepared I am for this year's show. It's just remarkable. But hopefully you're doing better. Hopefully you're getting all packed and ready to go, and yes, indeed, hopefully you're going to be heading towards California a little bit earlier as well, because of course there's D23 happening the weekend before, which we are going to talk about shortly, especially when it comes to its impact to San Diego Comic-Con with Mr. Andy Behbakht. Hello, Andy.
Hello, how y'all doing today?
You've been a busy boy this week, haven't you?
What did I do this week?
You've been podcasting all over the place. I saw you on that other show.
Oh yeah, that other show. That is also another great show. Man, I forgot what I've been doing this week. I don't even know if I had breakfast today. Like that's how it got forgettable I've been becoming at this point.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, this is what happens when you are the media mogul that you are. So I appreciate it. I appreciate that,
Leonard.
How busy you can get.
Enough with the butt kissing. Like I'm not that good. I'm not that great. I'm average at most. Media mogul. That's. What do you want from me, Leonard?
You are aware that I'm going to get everyone to call you that now, right? I'm going to get everyone to call you a media mogul.
Tell me what you really want. Like, what is it you want from me? You want something. You're giving all you Brits with your amazing compliments and your accentsness, and it's like you want something from me.
You can ask anyone and everyone. I'm all about giving. I'm not about taking.
All right.
Okay, we'll change the subject real quickly on that one. But we'll come back to you on that. We also have someone who's disappearing from her chair there for a second. She thought she could escape from us. The craftiness of the woman. We have Ali Hanley from Geekscape.net. Hello, Ali. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
It's a pleasure to have you back.
Hello.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you back on.
I am enjoying the stormy weather here in Austin, Texas. I know that you've got sun. I've got thunderclouds and lightning.
Well, you see, what we've just done is we've decided that you've had enough warm weather, and it's our turn for a change. So that's pretty much we had that deal, and we're cashing that card in.
Maybe the Texas weather is deciding that someone needs to become the fastest man alive by getting hit by okay, maybe that's not a good joke, but yeah.
I
dig my grave way halfway through there, so.
And aren't you crossing? You know, isn't that DC? Aren't you the Marvel guy?
No, I'm the DC and Marvel guy. So it's like
Okay.
I confirmed with the studios. I'm allowed to promote both sources.
Let me remind you and repeat again. Mogul. Okay, so there we go. Excellent stuff. Multiple brands. Indeed, you've got a lot of stuff that you've been interested in this week, and we'll just dive straight in. We're going to talk about first Marvel and about how their recent revelations, certainly when it comes to D23, could affect what they could be bringing to San Diego Comic-Con. First and foremost, about a couple months ago, we had Kevin Feige announcing that they will be representing at San Diego this year, which got a lot of people excited, obviously. But this week, we also, well, about 3 weeks ago, we also had the revelations about the live action panel that we're going to be seeing at D23 on the Saturday in the main hall. And then this week, we also had the announcement from Disney Studio that they're going to be bringing a whole bunch of games platforms. They're going to be bringing a bunch of the animation stuff, which means we could be seeing some of the first footage from the new Spider-Man cartoon that's due. And also, we're going to be getting some presentations on Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther. At which point then we then turn to Andy and say, basically what you're thinking we could be seeing at San Diego this year. Could in fact we be seeing stuff beyond Black Panther and Thor Ragnarok and further into Phase 3 and announcements for Phase 4? In other words, could we also be seeing stuff about Captain Marvel? What's the kind of thinking so far amongst you and the rest of the Marvel report?
I think that we will at least get Infinity War in some capacity at the Comic-Con, because this, okay, let's see. Infinity War comes out in May next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that, you know, this would be the last time to promote anything with Infinity War. So if they don't do anything at D23, I thought at least Infinity War will be there somehow. Maybe the first, like, not like a full-on trailer, but like kind of like an Avengers 1 trailer where, you know, Sam Jackson's being Sam Jackson, and, you know, we see the A logo and whatnot. So I think something with Captain Marvel would be cool. Like, I mean, I don't expect a lot of footage from some of these films, because
I think that's what's gotten a lot of people curious about what they could actually bring, because we've had the Black Panther represented last year. We had Thor. We're having all this Thor Ragnarok stuff that's coming through. Admittedly, it's getting closer to that film's release, and like you say, Infinity War has been shooting for a while, and they could be bringing some stuff of that. But I'm just curious, just how big an impact they can make this year.
Yeah, because D23 and San Diego are so close to one another, it's... I don't want to get my hopes up too high, because I'm like, you know, I don't want to say, like, you know, oh, they're gonna bring, you know, Infinity War, Captain Marvel, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, and so on. But at the same time, I'm like, well, it's like with CinemaCon, like, you know, that was like just literally 3 days before WonderCon. They had an entire DC panel at WonderCon, but they didn't announce anything. It was kind of just like a repeat. So that's why I'm trying to keep my expectations low. Like, it's so funny because when it comes to Marvel, I'm more interested in the Marvel TV stuff than with the films. So I'm like, you know,
don't worry, we're gonna get to that as well.
yeah. No, but like I mean, I expect there to be at least trailers for something. Like maybe, like maybe at D23 we get trailers, and then at San Diego we get teaser trailers, which, you know, is, you know, it's unconventional how to do that, but, you know, I think that if Kevin Feige is going, oh yeah, we should go to Comic-Con, we're gonna go to Comic-Con, then they need to bring something special for those attendees, as opposed to just, you know, giving everything to D23. Again, I don't know why they put D23 so close to Comic-Con. It's kind of like I mean, it's like putting the TCAs right after Comic-Con for all the TV reporters. But yeah, I expect it to be at least something that will satisfy fans enough, but not be too much without stepping on the toes of D23.
I think also the fact that D23 is very much a Disney focused thing. I mean, admittedly, they've announced that Marvel are going to be seriously representing at the show, but I think it's more about the Disney side of the properties at D23. But I think it's the fact that they have announced that they're going to be representing so heavily at the show before San Diego. I mean, Kevin Feige has always turned around and said that his love for San Diego is incredibly strong. Ever since that first Iron Man panel, which set the stall out for Marvel Studios, he's always said that the fandom coming to San Diego Comic-Con, it's where they can really get the pulse of what's going on. And I think that's why they do give back. Last year's panel was so strong. I mean, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that they did pretty much partner up with Sony for that panel last year. Do you think that's going to happen again? And could we expect anything from that partnership?
No, not really, because Homecoming will just come out by that point, because it comes out in July 7th. So yeah, I mean, it would be cool if they did oh, guess what? Here's what we're doing for Spider-Man: Homecoming 2, because that has already been greenlit. It's already been given a release date. It would be cool if they did something for that animated Miles Morales Spider-Man film, because they they found their leading actor. But again, Sony and Marvel are such interesting partners, because Sony really likes to give away so much in their Spider-Man trailers. So I feel almost like, okay, I've already seen most of the film now in these trailers. So I always wonder when it comes to the marketing for Sony in terms of Comic-Con, because I've never really been too impressed by their marketing from Sony. So hopefully they can do something that doesn't give away too much, because I actually like to be surprised. But I don't expect anything from Sony unless they really have something ready for Venom and Silver and Black. But that's not really partnered with Marvel. So I'm sorry, I'm going off topic, but yeah, I don't know what Sony could bring with Marvel this year.
Okay, I mean, I totally agree about their marketing. I mean, yeah, they do seem to give away so much in their trailers, and their posters are crap.
Oh my god, can we talk about that poster for a second? I hate it. I want to buy all of them that exist in the world, and then I want to burn them up one by one. I'm like, really? This is how you market a Spider-Man movie? Iron Man. It's like, no. Okay, sorry.
You're absolutely right. It's proven rather, yeah. I mean, what's been said on the forum so far in terms of our expectation, Alyssa? Has there been much chatter about what Marvel could bring?
Yeah, a little bit, but not so much. I mean, a lot of people are kind of focusing on D23, because the idea is that that a lot of, since it is Marvel is owned by Disney, that they're not going to steal their own thunder by putting a lot of stuff at San Diego. So, I mean, we don't really know yet what's going to happen, but that's the general feeling, is that we're primarily going to see it at D23. The one that I'm personally interested in is Netflix Defenders at the end of the summer. That's, that when I saw that pop onto the schedule, I was like, oh, that now having Netflix at San Diego Comic-Con do a panel with some of the Defenders there, that would be really cool. And I think it's appropriate because it's not so much Disney D23. I mean, yes, it is still a Marvel product, but it's more Netflix and television.
It's a different partnership, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, at least it feels that way if it isn't in fact. So yeah. That's the one I'm hoping for. Andy, do you have any thoughts on that one?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be pissed if Defenders doesn't go to Comic-Con, because I'm like, no, don't, because I feel like they've done more things for the Defender shows on New York Comic-Con than San Diego. Like last year, I felt like they really rushed things with some of the Netflix stuff at Comic-Con. Like Luke Cage had a panel, but that got crashed by Punisher, and I think they did something quickly with Defenders, and I'm like, give a brother his own time for a sec. But yeah, I hope that there is a straight-on Defenders panel, and that they drop one second final trailer, because the next month we will get Defenders on Friday, August 18th. So
I think they'll also need to push Defenders a bit, if anything, to kind of battle some of the negative press of the one character that has not stuck the landing, which was Iron Fist.
Who should have been named? He said you Voldemort.
It was just, yeah. I think all the rest of them did really well.
Yeah,
and everyone would have just been really excited for Defenders if it wasn't for Iron Fist. It's now kind of turned into the Suicide Squad of the lineup for.
Okay, that's mean. That's mean.
You think that was mean?
Yeah, I love Suicide Squad. So like, no, none of this. Like, oh god, that's
a whole other podcast where we can just turn around and say, okay, why do you like Suicide Squad? But we're not even going to go there. Let's not even touch that third rail. Ali, what would you expect when it comes to the television representation? Not just the Netflix stuff as well, because like Andy touched on there's been lots of other kind of combinations that they're going to be bringing. For example, the X-Men arm of the Marvel Universe, and also with Silver and Black as well. I mean, do you think just how far can Marvel go to stretch out with all the panels that they could do this year?
Well, you were talking about Netflix, and I wouldn't be surprised if they brought a lot of everything they've got. They don't have the same platform that Marvel and Disney has, and San Diego Comic-Con is a perfect platform for them. I'd like to see something that's about the new Dark Crystal series. I know that's going a little off topic, but that's something that I'm really looking forward to if it happens.
We kind of discussed this before, well, last year when we talked about Netflix representing at San Diego, and it's very much about their marketing budget, because they really do throw every penny that they kind of get off their subscribers on the actual shows themselves and just let the platform kind of monetize itself, as it were. They don't have a massive amount of budget when it comes to full-blown marketing, including appearing at conventions, which is why when we have had Netflix appearing at San Diego, it's been for the Marvel stuff, where it's also Marvel footing the bill and bringing the talent, as it were. It's
okay,
really
I think
awkward.
there's a lot of differences. There's a lot that's going to happen from Netflix. The difference between last year and this year, from a press standpoint, is I'm getting a lot more marketing from them, and via email, and they spent a huge amount of money, the most of any company, to buy programs from different film festivals and different ideas. They're spending money like no one else. So let's see what they do.
The budget I think may have certainly increased over the last couple of years, just purely because of the amount of quality content they're bringing. You're absolutely right. That's cool. Okay, so I mean, let's go back to Marvel then and talk about the one thing that hasn't been mentioned so far, which is Inhumans, which a lot of people are excited about, including myself. We got somebody on the chat room, KV Warrior, Lockjaw reveal. Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? If we had on the Marvel booth a full-size Lockjaw, that would be just awesome.
I will die.
That would just be awesome. What can you expect? I mean, when does Inhumans come out? I'm trying to remember.
Late September on Friday night at 8 Central on ABC.
Okay, and obviously we've got all the footage that's currently being run through. I think they've just wrapped up shooting, if I'm correct.
They're filming the finale this week, I believe, in Hawaii, and then done. So yeah, so they're very close to being done.
So they could represent Inhumans. Because it's one element of the Marvel universe that they had in their hands when it came to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They've taken it out of the hands of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. always seems to be the unlucky bedfellows when it comes to Marvel.
I feel like Marvel and S.H.I.E.L.D. has gotten to do a lot of cool things in the last few years. I mean, I feel we have the Inhumans aspect, we have the Ghost Rider aspect, we have the LMD aspect and everything. So I feel like S.H.I.E.L.D. has been getting luckier and luckier with the kind of material they're able to get a hold of in terms of the characters and aspects of the Marvel universe. But no, I don't think they've never really lost Inhumans. The Inhumans are still there. The Inhumans was still a large part in this season of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I think if you're talking more about Black Bolt and the Royal Family, yeah, that's maybe one thing that they never had and could never do and so on. But it's all the same universe, so you never know.
So can we see it's all connected? Hashtag. So could we see an Inhumans panel? Could we see something on an offsite perhaps? What do you think?
I think a panel will absolutely happen. I'm actually surprised that they're not bringing Inhumans to D23 because IMAX is sponsoring that show, and now the first 2 episodes will be shown in IMAX theaters in the first 2 weeks of September. I was kind of surprised like they're not bringing Inhumans to D23, even though I mean it's a TV show, but it's like, I mean it's getting a movie marketing basically if you think about it. But yeah, I think a panel will absolutely happen. I do not expect the pilot to be screened there because they're waiting exclusively for the IMAX theaters to show the first 2 episodes. But I do think a full-fledged like 2-minute trailer will be released and shown. So yeah, I think and a panel. I mean, offsite. I mean that whole thing about Lockjaw, the Marvel booth. I mean, like, Leonard, be careful what you're saying now, because if Marvel does that, and I see the Lockjaw, I may have to steal it. I mean, buy it or legally get it.
Yeah, this is where you now recruit me to try and nick the Lockjaw off a stand with you. Good grief!
Yeah,
I'm getting roped into all sorts of stuff here. Let's go through a couple of the Q&A comments. Graham Small, we must have Marvel Netflix at either D23 or Comic-Con. Luke Cage panel was amazing last year. Michael P, Defenders, with lots of exclamation points. Graham Small, Punisher turning up at Luke Cage panel last year was brilliant. KV Warrior, Academy Award winning Suicide Squad, thank you very much.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah, all right.
Can you say about any of the Marvel films, Leonard?
Sorry?
Can you say that about any of the Marvel films being Academy Award winning?
Yeah, I give every film the grief that it deserves or the praise that it deserves. Ant-Man was okay. Doctor Strange, outside of the Mystic Realm stuff, was all right. There we go. I'd say the Doctor Strange plot was as tenuous as the Suicide Squad plot. There we go. That's as
But
far as it's going to go.
But at least Doctor Strange was an Academy Award winning TDS.
Well, yes, absolutely. What else? Aaron Neighbors, Lenny could do a Lockjaw cosplay. What are you trying to say, dude? What are you trying to say?
Oh my!
No, okay. Fair enough.
Can you ban people in the chat? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't ban. Don't ban.
Okay, so let's see what else we can talk about. Certainly when it comes to Marvel. Is there anything else that you can expect? Because people do kind of focus on Marvel Studios, Marvel Netflix, and Marvel Television. Is there anything else? I mean, it's like you did say there, the Marvel animation arm of the company. We've got one which has been announced, which is Spider-Man. Is there anything else that we could possibly see at San Diego Comic-Con?
From animation?
Mm.
I don't. Okay, so that's one area that I don't keep up a lot of track on. Like I mean, I've been following the new Marvel Spider-Man show because they did release the first scene this week, and the animation looks. I mean, it looks
like every yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it looks. It looks a little bit lazy. I'm sorry, not sorry, but it looks lazy. But yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, they might bring maybe something for Guardians of the Galaxy season 3 or 4, maybe something with Avengers Assemble. But I don't know. I don't keep a good track on the Marvel animation just because to be quite honest, I don't really like them that much. But they're not supposed to be for me. They're supposed to be for kids, I guess. So
yeah,
I guess we can't have everything. We have to give something to the kids.
I don't understand this logic that you're trying to force on me. It's just, yeah, fair enough.
It's not logic.
So let's see what else we can talk about. Is there anything else that we can continue to speculate when it comes to Comic-Con? You talk about the IMAX presentation. Is Inhumans big enough to warrant a IMAX screening like we had for Star Trek?
Well, I mean, apparently it is because it's already it's getting an IMAX screening for 2 weeks starting in September. Apparently across the whole globe, I think. It's an interesting decision they may decide to go there because I wonder because they keep saying, oh, the Inhumans movie isn't canceled and this is not a spin-off for S.H.I.E.L.D., blah 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 blah. So it's interesting that well, you're giving it a very movie marketing treatment. So like, what are you? I mean, they're clearly testing something with Inhumans and in terms of IMAX. And as someone that got to see the trailer at the ABC Upfront live stream, I mean, it looks pretty damn good for a Marvel TV show. So yeah, I mean, obviously it seems to be warranted IMAX screening. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we're going to be getting an actual full-blown episode, or if we're just going to get the sizzle reel that you saw at the upfront.
Yeah, no, probably just like a 2-minute sizzle reel for Comic-Con at least. I mean, look, otherwise, I mean, I'm just good with staring at black balls, you know, at the panel for like, 30 minutes because, you know, I mean, look, the man is hot, okay? Like he looks, silence looks sexy, okay?
Well, silence is sexy, which is why I keep talking and talking and talking. There you go. Okay, excellent stuff. Like I say, with the comments on the Q&A section, do jump in. Kitty Gunn has asked, do you think they will have anything for Captain Marvel? We kind of touched on that. It may just be a little bit too early because I'm not entirely sure when Captain Marvel actually starts shooting.
January, I think that was a report.
Yeah, we're so far out from that.
An actress announcement can happen though. Like maybe like here's the villain, or here's someone that will reprise to a role from any other Marvel film. Yeah,
I think it's just that's kind of where we're all getting curious about what they can actually bring, considering this stuff is so far out the gap between Black Panther and everything else. It's just so far, and like you say, Infinity War is in there, but it's about what we could actually see at Comic-Con. And like I say, when he says we're going to represent at San Diego, what they're going to bring is, I think that's what I wanted to try and touch on. So there we go. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Andy. Of course, you can stick around because we're going to talk DC and Warner Brothers now, because
I'm not going anywhere.
Let's go. Fair enough. Let's go to the other side of the aisle then. Let's go to DC, who have had one hell of a week. Obviously, Wonder Woman came out this week, and we are looking at a $100 million opening weekend. And I went to see the midnight screening, and I've got my thoughts. I know, Alyssa, you said that you were going to try and see it before this show.
I did
see it as well. Excellent stuff. So we'll share our spoiler-free thoughts, but this is where we turn to Ali for her thoughts on Wonder Woman. I'm guessing you've seen it.
Yeah, I got to see an early screening of it, and
you see, this is where she just gets to show off now.
Hey, I had to work hard to get to that level. No, but I saw Wonder Woman, and I gave it 4 out of 5. It's not a perfect film, but it's definitely the best thing I've seen from DC in a long time.
Excellent stuff.
And that's
what was the okay? So what were the pros for the film for you?
Well,
before we hit the cons.
Well, Patty Jenkins is a director. She captured there's this really fine line that you have to walk between showing Wonder Woman as being a woman and being feminine, yet still exuding her power, if that makes sense. So Patty Jenkins did a wonderful job walking that fine line, and I think everybody who's seen it didn't see Wonder Woman as being a farce. She was definitely powerful as Superman when it was all said and done, and she could go, toe to toe with him. Not that that'll happen, but she's definitely one of the strongest characters in the DC universe, and and she happens to be female, so that's really nice.
I think what I liked about it was that there was no snark involved. There was no snippiness. There was no kind of irony. It was very much wearing its heart on its sleeve. That Diana, Wonder Woman, which I noticed Wonder Woman was not meant, the name Wonder Woman wasn't said throughout the entire film. It's Diana of Themyscira. That she is so optimistic, and that she is, I mean, I think it's said a lot when it's there's a scene in the film where she is told that she can't possibly do this thing that she wants to do, at which point she says, no, I want to do this, and this is what I'm destined to do. And she goes ahead and does it. And that she isn't driven by any kind of secondary motive. It's all there on the sleeve, that she's there fighting for us and fighting for mankind, which was really I think that's, for me, the thing that's been missing so far. There's been this sense that you can't quite nail down exactly what the DC heroes are motivated by, and the stuff that they are motivated by. Certainly, say for example, the Batman, the Ben Affleck Batman. It's just a case of, well, why are you carrying on doing what you're doing? But with Diana, it's there on screen. She's very much sort of like wearing her heart on her sleeve, and I think that was really inspiring.
But that may be because it was an origin film. Because if you think about it, Superman and Batman are both these heroes that had this ideology, and it's been tested, and Superman's been pretty steadfast in his ideology, but Batman's been tested. Maybe in Justice League, we might see a side of Diana where she's a little bit fickle. The Justice League trailer, you can't tell anything that's going on in that thing, but we'll see what happens.
Yes, that's the entire opposite of the Sony marketing. That instead of seeing everything that from that Justice League trailer, we're still not entirely sure what's coming. Andy, have you seen Wonder Woman?
I have seen Wonder Woman. I went on late Thursday night to see it with me and my three of my male friends, and and I was surprised because they're not necessarily big comic book fans, whatever, but like they all came out like, oh my God, Andy, I get why you love these films so much now. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. As I said on Twitter, I smiled, I cried, I cheered, I lived, I Wonder Woman over all of it. It was. I mean, even though I feel like the wait for a Wonder Woman film shouldn't have been this long, boy, was it still worth it though, because I went into the theater and there was nothing I really had an issue with. Like the only thing I wanted more of was at the Candy, because she's awesome. So that was like my only we could have more of her. But like I feel like I got to meet Patty Jenkins back in February in London, for an editing visit, and like when talking to her and so on, hearing her passion and her dedication to this film and this, which she's been trying to get this film made for almost 14 years. I mean, she's been talking to Warner Bros. Since 2003 about maybe directing a Wonder Woman movie, and then there's been conversation after conversation after conversation. So like I could not have seen anyone else better fit for this job than Patty. And it was, in Gal Gadot, I mean, I can watch a woman for hours doing anything. Like I could watch one woman just like read a phone book or whatever, and it would still be badass. Because she's just, she is Wonder Woman, and I've been a fan of the DCEU films so far, but I think Wonder Woman is definitely my biggest favorite since Man of Steel.
One of the things, Andy, that I really enjoyed was the training sequence in the beginning of the film. And I kind of wanted to get a guy's perspective from this, because I really enjoyed seeing obviously well done female stunts. People doing all of this, especially the horse work they were doing. Not to get spoilery.
I'm keeping the banhammer nice and close. I'm keeping an eye on all of you. But don't worry, you're okay so far.
I mean, that to my mind seemed to really establish that it was a separate and different culture than the traditional superhero movies. And I was kind of wondering, was that believable to you guys?
Oh yes, I mean I was like Diana, like we've seen it in the trailer, so it's not a big spoiler, but like in the trailer, the little Diana, like you can see her fighting, and like she's practicing with behind the Amazon. That was me, because I'm like I want to fight like that. I want to be strong and so quick. Like my friends didn't see me, but like I kept going like underneath my seat, like like I kept going this like. So yeah, I mean the fight scenes they were so fresh. It felt like a very new style to fighting in superhero movies, and I mean I could have watched it for hours, and it was just so empowering to see so many women of all colors, fighting together, training together, and being. I mean, I would feel more safe in the world if we had the Amazon.
Well, and the flip side was because the film, I mean, from a women's perspective, the film as you said, Leonard, the film portrays Diana as with no Stark, and wearing her heart snarky, and wearing her heart on her sleeve, and she's very clear, as Superman is, and in the DC universe. But that kind of plays into a little bit of a stereotype of women being a little simpler. And, you know, and I that kind of bothered me, but maybe I'm hypersensitive to it, and I very well could be. And I'm interested in hearing, you know, what people think on the Q&A who saw it also. So that was one of my thoughts, that it was, I could have used a little bit more, you know, a little bit more insight from Diana into some of the things that were happening around her.
Are you talking about on Themyscira or throughout the film generally?
Well, maybe throughout the film generally, you know, just because it was such, as you said, it was such an origin film, or I forget, somebody said it was such an origin film. It almost, it had the same kind of feeling as Captain America, the first Captain America movie, which was the origin film of somebody who was very innocent and had very strong beliefs of right and wrong, as does Wonder Woman, as Diana Prince does. And they both took place in World War II. So I thought that was kind of interesting also.
I thought Wonder Woman was put in World War I.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies.
It's all right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But they both had that, you know, that strong definition of right and wrong in a world war situation where you had to follow through on your gut instincts. And I'm just, you know, I think that the Steve Trevor character balanced out with Wonder Woman quite well with the insight into what was happening. I enjoyed that interplay between them, of him trying to explain to her what was happening, what was really happening.
I could have actually done with a little bit more of that. Actually, I thought there was this. There's a section in London which there was this kind of him explaining the ways of the world outside of the island, and yeah. I could have done with a bit more of that. I really enjoyed the London sections, but then again, I could have enjoyed a lot of more of it. I mean, I could have quite happily watched 2.5 hours on Themyscira, because I just loved that whole section. I mean, yes, Gal Gadot is a very pleasant lady to look at, but I could have had several hours.
You can say that.
Okay,
that sounds sexist.
But I could have had several hours of the little girl playing Diana. She was just awesome. She's just brilliant. At which point we've got a couple of comments on the chat room which talk about the film. Andrew Dickinson has made a couple of comments, and he is saying that he feels that perhaps the film did follow a little bit too much the Captain America template in terms of the way that the film was constructed. Graham Small, the No Man's Land scenes were so very good. Oh. Yes, they certainly were. Actually, I don't think the No Man's Land scene is actually talked enough so far, because actually, no, I think we could be straying a little bit too close to spoilers there, so I'll leave alone. But I will say, no, I agree that the scenes were excellent. I'm seeing a couple of comments coming in which basically have the word "but" in there. Andrew Dickinson, still very good, but 24 hours later can still pick it apart. Super Cat Chick, I loved Wonder Woman, but felt she was being driven by men the whole movie in her enemy and her boyfriend, and that made her sad. I do agree, but certainly with the enemy, there's I think it's not so much a human element. That it kind of takes the idea of the gender away, perhaps.
I don't agree with that comment necessarily that viewer made, because I don't think she was driven by men, but I think yeah, she was supported by men, but she could take care of herself or whatever. But I think they were just her guides into this world and this aspect of London, that was in this poor shape. So I like, I don't know, like I don't see what the harm was there. So like I would not say she was driven by men. I think she was supported by men. And guys, I mean, that's okay. Men support women, women support men. It's fine. It happens.
No, it is, and I have to defend Super Kachik there just a little bit, just because there's something that I can't quite nail, I can't quite pinpoint, that I find just a little grating about her character. And I appreciate the movie. I really enjoy the movie. I love the Wonder Woman character. Don't get me wrong, but I think it has to do with the naivete of the way her character is written, that just kind of bugs me as a strong woman. But you know, that doesn't take away from all of the accomplishments of the movie, because the movie is great. There's just a little something that's a little off there. And I would love to hear, I'm going to be doing a bunch of reading to try and figure out what it is, because I'm sure that there are other reviews out there that would go into this in a little more detail. Well,
I could answer that really easily for you.
Go for it.
The story takes place in 1914, you know, around then. So you have to think about, well, how were women viewed? And I think that's why I like the movie so much, is it captures how women were viewed and how they fit into society. It wasn't World War II where they were picking up hammers and building ships and whatever. They were behind the scenes, and so it had to have that naivety to work, and that's part of the charm of the movie for me.
No, I agree with you. I felt the same. I felt very realistic in how to portray, you know, like it takes place in a superhero story, but at the same time, it's like, this is what it looked like back then.
Yeah. Let's see what other comments have come in. Michael P. She wasn't simple. She was honest. We've forgotten what it's like to meet someone who's honest.
Good point. Good point, Michael.
Andre White, wow, a lot of people absolutely loved Wonder Woman. It didn't resonate that much with me. It was good, don't get me wrong. It just didn't reach the greatness that, to me, a lot of people are feeling. Andre, if you could put in your comments the kind of film that has really landed for you, certainly in the recent Marvel and DC genres. If you could just give us a sense of where your take on the films would be. Sarita P, she was driven to accomplish a mission. Unfortunately, men are involved in it for a bad reason. Okay, fair enough. This is where myself and Andy, me and Andy get our coats.
Men are bad. We're garbage. We should not exist.
Yeah, and this is another thing. I don't know when this was announced. I only spotted this this afternoon, and I missed it. Wonder Woman has been banned in Lebanon as she's a leading role, an ex-army, which just absolutely baffled me. So yeah, there we go. I personally felt that the film was incredibly well done. I think there is some sections in the middle where it just felt a little slow, but at the end of the day, you need that to kind of provide some kind of respite. If you just go hammer and tongs throughout the entire film, you're just going to get completely burnt out. Whereas this just allowed the film to breathe and the characters to breathe. A couple of the characters, certainly when it came to the team that Steve Trevor puts together, did feel a little forced in there, in that, okay, we just have to have a team together to round out the cast, and we didn't really get a full drawn cast in that regard. But I felt that Steve Trevor was very well done by Chris Pine. I thought Gal Gadot was the most impressive I expected her to be, considering I have seen her in other films, and while she's been good, she hasn't been this good. She was definitely driven by the material that she had. But for myself, the most valued player, the MVP of the entire film, was the cinematographer. Every single frame of this film looks stunning. You could frame so many sequences and just take them out, blow them up, and stick them on your wall. It looks gorgeous. Excellent score. Like I say, it really does come together as a very good film. For myself, it works as a fusion between Superman 77 and Captain America, the First Avenger. It has very much that Richard Donner vibe throughout the entire film, which, frankly, as a Richard Donner fan, I have no problem with. I gave it a strong 8, 9, a weak 9. I felt that there was some bits in there which maybe didn't quite gel together, but generally as a film, it's definitely worth the watch. And if anything, the main reason why I was really blown away by the film is that, unlike most or some of the superhero films we've seen so far, I actually came out pumped up and invigorated, and very much I felt empowered. So there we go. I don't know if I'm allowed to use that word, but I did.
We are. Well, we are. I mean, look, I love comic books. I love superheroes, but like, I am sort of strong, vocal force for female characters, and like, whether it's like someone like Wonder Woman or Black Canary or Supergirl, or if it's like Captain Marvel or whatever. Like, I'm all behind it. If you can do it well, like I mean, look. I get inspired. I will say that I get inspired more by female heroes on screen than I do by male heroes. That's just the way I am. So yeah, I think the fact that men like you and me and who knows who else could come out of this film and feeling empowered. I think that's that's the thing. Wonder Woman is for everyone. Superman is for everyone. That's the thing that if there's one thing I have not enjoyed with this film is some of the reactions on social media where it feels like that. There's just need of like, oh well, this is really a film for women, but like no, because
we need to claim this film for
that has like really bothered me. I'm like, you know what, Wonder Woman is for, if this is how you feel about Wonder Woman, then you completely missed the whole point of Wonder Woman. If you're saying that like we're claiming it as ours, it's like no, you know what? Just because some men critics or whatever are D-bags are just saying, oh, there should not be a only female screening or whatever and so on for Wonder Woman. It's like that doesn't mean that all men are bad in that way. So like I see Wonder Woman as something for everyone. I think Melissa Benoist said it the best when she was on Stephen Colbert's show when he asked her about is there something very feminist about Supergirl, and she said yeah, and I think what's so feminist about it is that it's for everyone, and I think that statement applies for everything. So.
There's a couple of comments here, which is actually echoed because my brother went to see the film yesterday with my mum, and both of them thoroughly enjoyed it. But certainly my brother turned around and felt that the film was a little CGI heavy in places. s04e42, DC CGI generally is bad, and it's a little bit too heavily involved in places. What else? Andrew English agrees with the CGI. The Mac Phantom, the action scenes didn't actually do much for me. I felt that CGI in all the DC movies is so obvious it takes me out of the film. I think a number of people have said that about the end fight as well, that it's a little bit too much in terms of just the CGI. We're not going to deal spoilers. We're not going to say, but I think we're talking across generally across the board.
I mean, there's always a final fight in every movie, you guys. That's not a spoiler. That's a fact.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. At least there's one thing about this film. There's not a big glowing circle of something up above destroying everything. That
was nice.
That was a novel touch.
It is the lightest DC movie I think we've ever seen. Or has there been any other movies that have? I mean, certainly.
Hold on.
And certainly, in the Batman DC realm, we haven't quite seen that, the lightness.
I mean, I personally feel Man of Steel wasn't as dark of a film as everyone claims it to be. I think that, yes, Superman wasn't dark. Superman was never dark in that film. I think the world around him was dark. And you know what? Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it. I love Richard Donner. I love Christopher Reeve. I love those movies. Mm-hmm. But that world feels dumbed down. I'm sorry. It does. Yeah. It doesn't feel anything like a true representative of our world. It feels very gullible and naive, and I feel like with Man of Steel, God forbid that there's a little bit of darkness there, but it's not the character that's dark; it's the world around them.
Yeah, I mean, we actually see humor in this movie. unlike in many DC movies, previous DC movies. And I think that was one of the things that Leonard and I had commented on that we really missed from the more recent movies.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I know that we started off by asking Ali her pros for the film. What would you say were your cons that you took away from the film, or have we pretty much covered them all? Was there anything else that you took away?
Well, you mentioned the CGI, which I was exactly with you on that. The boss fight at the end that you already know is going to happen. That was a little too blurred out for me. But there was another kind of bothered me, but it got better. In the first act, when Steve Trevor meets Princess Diana, he kind of uses a modern day descriptor when he meets her, and that really took me out of the 1914 World War I feel. And he basically says, you're hot. And so I was looking at James T. Kirk for about 20 minutes because that's who it looked like and how he was acting. But by the second act, it was fine. It was Steve Trevor, but I couldn't help it. You're hot.
Did you enjoy him here? Did you enjoy Pine here more as Steve or more as Captain Kirk?
Well, okay, I got to say Star Trek because I've seen him more in that role. I saw him last year at Comic-Con outside at the premiere they did with the symphony.
Oh my God, what was he like? Is he as hot as in real person as he is on screen?
I can't. He had a beard at one point and then he didn't. Like he'd shaved it off or something. I seen him earlier in the day or later. Oh, maybe he was on. I think I seen him on Conan too. I was at the Conan thing and then I went to the other thing and he looked completely different in the span of like 3 hours. But both times I thought he was great. So yeah, I'm a fan of Chris Pine.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Chris Pine too.
A couple of comments that are coming in. Sarita P, you can talk about a dark world without being seen as dark on film. I can certainly get that. We asked Andre White about what his the template of his films or the kind of things that he likes. He's said that his favorite Marvel movie is Winter Soldier, followed by Logan. So I'm guessing there's definitely that sense of while there are heroes in the world, it's a case of against a backdrop which is very realistic, which I suspect I take away from those two films. Supercatchick, I really liked his character. I didn't know he was in it and squealed when he came on screen. I'm guessing we're talking about Mr. James T. Kirk here, who Graham Small turns around and says, yes, it's great to see him on the back of a motorcycle again, just like we've had in other Star Trek films. So that's rather a good point. Kitty Gunn points out an actress who I was absolutely blown away by, who I completely forgot was in this. And she was, for me, one of the best characters in it. Robin Wright.
Oh my God, yes.
Who was just so good in this film. So good. Excellent. So there we go. I think we'll go across the line and say, what would your score say out of 10 for the film? We'll go with Ali. What would you say out of 10 you gave the film?
8.5.
Okay.
Out of 10.
8 out of 10. Andy?
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Okay. Yeah, Alyssa?
8.5 or 9. Yeah, I love the strong female role. I love Wonder Woman.
Fair enough.
I'm giving a high.
We've actually got we're going down all the way down. We're going all the way down to the metrics here. Andre White, I gave it a 7.5. Andrew English, 7.8. Wow. Okay. And Davey Warrior, 8.5 as well. Yeah, I think everyone's kind of in that kind of a strong 8, 9 out of 10. It is definitely worthwhile seeing. I think what I want to very quickly touch on now for a couple of minutes is about what it can now mean for the rest of the DC universe. Considering that, if this isn't a spoiler as much, if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The new DC opening title card.
I love that so much. I forgot it was going to be in there. When it happened, I grabbed both my friends. I'm like, on the shoulder, I'm like, oh, Then you see that, I'm like, it's just a keyboard card, and I'm like, you don't understand. It's never been in a movie like that before. I'm done.
Oh my word.
Must be
Fair
interesting
enough.
going to a movie with you.
Oh yeah, I'm a delight at the movies. Like people, like I mean, I should rent myself as someone to go to films with.
But it really reminded me of the Marvel title card. It wasn't unique. It was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was cool, but it wasn't.
Yeah. I think the thing that struck me. Sorry, I think that's the thing that struck me is very much like the transition of the new and old Marvel title cards. The old Marvel title card had the comic flipping sound and it was very much harking back to the original comics, right? At which point you've now got the new Marvel title card, which is all concept art and the movies representations of these characters. With the new DC title card, you no longer have the pixelated element which flashes up before the DC logo. It is very much showing the characters very much as they're going to be represented on screen. One thing that kind of excites me about that is that they are committing to getting these characters on screen in whatever manner they have, including Green Lantern, Cyborg, all the other DC characters, is seeing them in that lineup. But it takes away from the comics heritage again. It skips that whole thing and just deals with what we've seen on screen. I
feel that I'm trying to. Okay, so how much can we spoil what happens, like how the DC intro plays out, or is that a spoiler?
Sorry, what spoiler? Which part? Sorry.
Is it wait? How far can I go into like describing the intro card? Like, is that you know?
No, we can talk about the intro card.
Okay, so like the first couple, the first 6 shots are of the Justice League members, one by one by one. And so I feel that was a comic side of it, and then when we see it when we get to the big shot of all of that, I think that is like a combination of here's what they would look like in the DCU, and here's some of the takes from the DC Comics universe and so on.
Fair enough. I think it also reflects as well what we could see at San Diego this year, because I think now that we've got this film, which has made such an impact and has done so well at the box office, finally DC has the muscle to really represent Hall H this year. I think we could be seeing, could we be seeing Green Lantern Corps? Could we be seeing commitments for the? I mean, was Cyborg cancelled?
No, Cyborg is happening. It's still on. Ray Fisher was asked at a con recently. He said, no, it's still like it's still being worked on. So I mean, like, I feel we're gonna have more things on Cyborg rather than the Flash movies. So but I will digress. But I'm just saying. But yeah, Cyborg is still happening.
I mean, what was it? I think it was not last year. It was the year before when they just set their stall out, and this was before Suicide Squad came out. This was before Batman vs Superman came out, and they set their stall out and said we're going to be getting all these solo films. Then last year, that kind of like faded away. It was almost like there was this guarded moment. Okay, let's see how Wonder Woman performs before we then start rolling it out again. I think this new title card just implies the reaffirmation of their commitment to the rest of their DCU.
Well, one thing I wanted to add, by the way, is that people need to remember about what they have started out with Wonder Woman is that Jeff Johns, who is one of the most acclaimed writers of DC Comics, he's the president of DC Entertainment, and he's now also one of the co-heads of DC Film. This was his first official heading into the DC film universe, so because he I think he co-wrote the script, or he contributed to the story at least, and he's an executive producer now on this film, and all the other DC films are coming out. So I feel like that you can feel like his hands are in this. So I think that's why we're gonna. If you weren't happy with BVS and Man of Steel or Suicide Squad and so on, but you love Wonder Woman, I think you should be prepared to have a very good time with DC, because I think now that Jeff is helping them steering to the right direction, that that more fans and critics will be agreed on.
That makes sense. I tell you, after Wonder Woman, I'm anticipating Aquaman in December, really, with Jason Momoa. I think that's that has the potential. I mean, they've got it right before Christmas time, and that really has the potential of being another very, very strong movie.
You know, it's next year's December. You know.
Yeah.
I think she means Justice League.
Actually, I meant Aquaman. I thought it was happening in the 17th.
I'm sorry to break the news, but yeah, it's sadly happening.
Darn.
I was I want Aquaman 2 for Christmas, like you know.
I mean, because the Wonder Woman and doing a single character, this really just kind of starts the ball rolling, and it would be awfully sad if, since it's so far out that we're not going to get another movie in eight or 9 months, which is what should happen, in my opinion.
No, we're getting Justice League in November, aren't we?
But that's
an ensemble piece. I think she's talking about a single female-led superhero movie. I mean, we're talking still some time away for Captain Marvel, and I think
the Flash is next March.
No, not anymore. I think Flash. There's no way Flash will happen next year because they haven't even started filming yet.
Yeah.
But the good thing is we do have female movies from DC being in development. You know, we have Gotham City Sirens, and we have Batgirl, and I'm sure there are more that are developing, but they haven't announced yet. Definitely more than what?
Supergirl.
I don't know if Supergirl is getting a movie, but like we had a TV show that is doing excellent. But not to be Marvel or whatever, and so, but just say hey, at least DC has more female product in development than Marvel does.
Yeah.
So at San Diego, it probably, if they haven't started shooting The Flash, then they probably won't be bringing anything from that.
It's curious to see what they could bring out on. Will it all just be Justice League again?
I think with Justice League and Aquaman and maybe a slew of announcements. They will, like Jeff Johns will maybe show up on stage and be like, here's what's happening. They'll show us some logos and concept art. But I definitely think Aquaman will be there. At least you guys remember the first Suicide Squad panel they did? Not the one that was last year, but the one that was the year before that. Maybe something small with Aquaman, like giving us a teaser because they've been filming. And I think DC would be foolish to not bring Aquaman there for at least a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just desperately hoping that Jeff Johns will come out and go, so I would just like to now announce a bit of casting that we're going to be we would like to bring out. I would like to bring out the 5 people who will be the Green Lantern Corps, ladies and gentlemen. And then they bring out.
If that happened, I would die. I would just be like, oh.
Wait,
that would just be the moment.
You want 5 Green Lanterns in the? I mean, we have Hal.
It's got to be. It's a core. It's got to be more than 2.
I mean, as long as Guy Gardner isn't there, I'm good.
Oh no! I love Guy Gardner. I love Guy Gardner so much.
It's been nice knowing you.
Can we segue?
I'm such a massive fan. I'm a massive fan of the mid-90s JLI. I love JLI. I love JLA. Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah, fine. As long as we just get Batman smacking Guy Gardner once. Bang.
I think that Batman. I feel Batman could totally be there somehow. I mean, I'm sure Ben Affleck will be at Comic-Con.
I would love to see him. That would be great. That would be great.
He was the only one I didn't get to see. Like when I was not last year, but the year before that. Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot, they walked past me one by one, and I kept waiting. Ben, Affleck, and he never came.
Okay, let's go down the line of the Q&A comments because I know we've got people who are talking. Thank you very much indeed jumping in. The Mac Phantom, I have a feeling that James Wan is going to kill Aquaman. No, you can't kill Jason Momoa. What are you on about? What else? Scott C, only reason to sleep out if you want to be closer to the stage. A couple of people are talking about the best ways to negotiate Hall H at this point. I think there's people talking about shifts. That's probably a good one. We've got ourselves Corgi Commander. We need Martian Manhunter.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. If anything, that would be a nice little thing at the end. Well, actually, no. I mean, it's Unite the 7, isn't it? Have we actually had the 7 yet? Andy, you're going to have to help me out. So,
okay. So we have
Superman, Batman,
Wonder Woman, Cyborg,
Cyborg,
Aquaman.
Flash. One more. So it could be, yeah, I think that'd be cool. We've got ourselves the Mac Phantom going way into DC lore here. Still hoping we get an R-rated Sandman movie.
I know they're working on Sandman. They're working on Sandman movie, aren't they?
I think they're going to. I think aren't they doing a TV series? Isn't
They're doing something with Sandman.
what's his face?
What's
The guy who's done Preacher, comedian. What's his name?
Oh, you mean Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen. I thought he was
Oh
doing
no,
something
is he
with
involved with
Sandman.
that too? Oh Lord.
Hey, listen, don't knock Preacher. Preacher rock.
No, Preacher, not Preacher. But I'm just like, I'm so over Seth Rogen. Come at me, bro.
Fair enough. I think s04e42, I think Nightwing is in the plans.
Yep.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. And the Mac Phantom. No, James Wan is going to kill Aquaman, as in do a great job with it.
There we go.
That makes a little bit more sense. Andrew English, the 7th member is either the Lantern or Martian. It's one of the two.
I think it should be Black Canary.
I think he should be Black Canary as well.
I think it's the
I was
Martian.
about to say that.
I wanted to
Martian.
There needs to be some more girls in the Justice League, so
Black Canary.
yep.
Actually, no. Sorry, I've changed my mind.
Screw
I
you.
want Zatanna in there. No, I want Zatanna in there.
Yeah, Black Canary before Zatanna. I love Zatanna, but I love Black Canary.
Dude, nice.
And if they want to add Katie Cassidy to Black Canary in the movie universe, that's fine.
Bask and tights, man. Anyway, right. Okay.
Fish nuts.
Out of the gutter. Out of the gutter.
Okay, I'll try. Okay. So that's our chats about DC as well. Continue the chat as well. I mean, Andrew English is jumping on the end. Hawk Girl. Could be a good idea on that one. That'd be nice. Okay. Cool. Okay. What we're going to talk about now is the badge box reveal that got announced from Comic-Con, because people have started to receive those. And indeed, at the beginning of the week, people suddenly realize they're not just going to get them in a crummy brown envelope this year. They're actually getting something rather special in terms of the badge box. Now, if you do get the chance, there is a unboxing of the badge box, which the unofficial blog have done this week. So do check out that video. But we do have a couple of images that we can share. Because the one thing that kind of struck me about the badge box this time round is just how much information is actually involved in the actual booklet, which is very impressive. Let's go through it page by page just quickly. This is the booklet that you get through. First of all, just to say, you do get yourself a laminated pin, which considering it is dated, it looks like that we're going to be getting a whole bunch of those throughout the course of the year. But this is the opening page. We're excited you'll all be joining us over the summer. This year we've instituted something new, inaugural badge box, which includes a commemorative pin and is a way to say thank you for your continued support. Okay, so let's go through. It talks about the RFID, certainly talking about how the actual the markings of the badge will play out, which we kind of knew from last year. One or two people rather disappointed that we're getting Walking Dead again this year. Could have done with possibly another franchise represented. Talking about how you're tapping in and out and that kind of thing. And it was also this booklet that we got to see the covers for the souvenir book, which I think is absolutely
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. If I can just bring it in a bit. Oh, too far, Leonard. Okay, this is the booklet as drawn by Bruce Timm, of all people, and it's the Jack Kirby celebration.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is just really, really tidy. I think it's just a really nice book. So that's rather cool. Talking about the other events that you can get, but there's the pin that we're going to be getting this year. But this is the one that I was most interested in. Let's just move through this. It doesn't actually talk about, when I get to it, here we are. Two things: the off-site events, which it does describe, including the fact that we're going to get something at the Omni, a VR lounge. and including a screening theatre as well, which is going to be represented. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit further.
I went to a VR lounge this year at South by Southwest, and I think anyone going to Comic-Con needs to pop in there because those VR presentations they have are unbelievable.
Can you zoom in a little bit on the Marina guide, since that's what I'm going to be staying?
The marina, yeah, you're getting your merch store as usual, your comic creator connection, the Nintendo lounge, gaming, esports lounge, pinball lounge, the films, fan culture room, playback room, hospitality suite, and volunteer registration. Your usual stuff and nonsense that you get at your Marriott Marquis and Marina. The one thing that is missing from these offsite events is the Xbox lounge, which isn't mentioned at all, which we would usually get at the Manchester Grand Hyatt. The Manchester Grand Hyatt this year is only going to be featuring the Blood Drive, Her Universe fashion show, the programming premiums, and the art show. So, yeah, no Xbox lounge this year, unfortunately.
Oh,
never mind. But this was the other thing as well, which I don't think enough people are talking about. I don't think you'll be able to see too much, but we actually have a shuttle map. We usually wait a little while for this, which allow people to get an idea of where and when to get their shuttles. But no, we have a shuttle map inside of the guide, including the routes as well. So I'm trying to get my best to get a slightly blown up a scan of this, so at least then we can get that out to people, the shuttle map for this year. So there we go. Right.
Excellent stuff.
It's a cool way for people to get more invested in the ramp up to San Diego Comic-Con, to have their own little loot crate for Comic-Con, which I think is rather cute. So there we go. Right. Apparently, the one thing that I have tried to find out from CCI is whether the box is actually going to be available for international attendees and those people who are collecting their badges on site. We've still yet to find out, but yeah, I think otherwise we could just be getting the pin, perhaps.
I think a pin.
Who knows?
I think a pin is something you could easily supply in the Comic-Con bags,
Yeah.
which I'm excited to look for. I always love seeing the Comic-Con bags for Warner Brothers. I don't know if you can see in the background, but like, if you look behind me, those are my first Comic-Con bags from 2012. So Oliver Queen is always.
Do you fight over the bag you want?
Sorry?
Or do you fight over the bag you want when you?
Oh, you don't know. Oh, God, that year was hilarious because on Sunday they were giving out all their other bags. So I was able to pretty much get any bag I wanted. But within 5 minutes, I was carrying around 35 bags in my hand.
Jeez.
I'm not kidding. It was 35. It was. Oh, I miss 2012 because every Sunday since then I've gone up there to, like, are you giving away some bags? They're like, no, we don't have it. We don't have it.
Fair enough. Okay, the other thing that I want to talk about quickly is about the announcements this week for exclusives. We've had a couple, not many. The big announcement, by the way, and it completely slipped my mind to talk about it last week. We did find out prior to last Sunday's show that in actual fact we're going to be getting the Funko exclusive announcements. The first wave of Funko goes out tomorrow. So do keep your eyes open on your social media, because we're going to get the first 5 or 6 figures. Some people have been talking about the timing, that it's a bit early. In actual fact, it sits nicely into the timing as we got last year. So no, we're going to be we're on schedule.
Did I tell you that since my last time on the show, I actually finally swiped my Funko virginity card?
Did you now?
Yeah.
Go on. What did you get? 2
sets of black bolts.
What a thing for that character.
I'm sorry. Have you seen Anson Mond from the new TV show? He's hot.
Excellent.
And I call this on him.
Stuff.
Just saying.
Fair enough. Okay, let's quickly go through a couple of the exclusives then. As announced this week, we let's see if I can just zoom in a little bit so I can just go. So this is on the exclusives directory that I've got on at EnglishmanInSanDiego.com. CineQuest have got themselves a Supernatural Road Trip to San Diego shirt that's available, although that's a non-exclusive exclusive. In actual fact, they're saving a couple of shirts back for people who are not attending this year, but you can get it mailed out to you when the convention's happening, which is particularly bizarre. But the two that absolutely grabbed me that got announced this week, we did get the second figure from NECA that has been announced, which is an Aliens Sewer Mutation Warrior, an alien figure priced out at $30. We haven't yet an idea in terms of scale, but the actual sculpt on this thing is absolutely gorgeous. It looks
so creepy.
I know, very, very impressive indeed. And yeah, sorry for scaring any of the more sensitive viewers, but there you go. That's a very, very impressive alien sculpt. Like I say, you're looking at $30. We've no idea yet about how many you can get hold of or where the booth is going to be for NECA, but we are going to keep our eyes open on that. But the thing that a lot of people have been interested in, which I posted today, this is from Monogram Entertainment, who I'm not too familiar with. I'm not sure about their work in the past, but this is a booth 3645. They're $25 of Marvel pins, lapel pins.
They've been doing
very, very nice.
They've been doing pins for the past couple of years. I've gotten a couple of other ones. I think they may have had something in a keychain format of that pin set last year, but
yeah,
you're
right.
In general, they do a nice pin.
You said doo-doo. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry. Family Guy fan. Sorry.
Yeah,
anyway,
moving on.
No, I think it looks very, very pretty. This is going to also feature a debut of the Black Panther pin, which is rather nice, and that that Marvel logo pin as well, which is exclusive to the set. Like I say, $25. I don't think that's too shabby at all. I think that's very nice indeed.
They announced something for the
Flash.
there
you go. Those are the exclusives.
They announced something. Sorry? They announced something related to the Flash, right? Like there was some badges being given away from the Flash, like Star Labs.
I haven't seen those yet.
Yes.
Oh no, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes, it's the we talked about them on a previous show. It's it's Star Labs ID.
I gotta get them so hard.
I could show you there on the exclusives directory on an EnglishmanInSanDiego.com.
I shall click on it then.
Do you have any more exclusives?
Much it for the moment. Like I say, everyone's kind of gearing themselves up for more Hasbro exclusives, some more bits and pieces, obviously from Factory, who are going to continue. They're going to blast out a bunch. We're also waiting on Entertainment Earth, who no doubt will be bringing their fair share of exclusives. But of course, everyone's more excited about tomorrow. First wave of Funko. So I've got the master list ready to go. I'm ready for that little lot.
I just want these TV Funkos. I mean, give me a new Flash Funko with the freaking white and gold logo, and give me a Black Siren Funko.
I think we're going to get Inhumans. I think we're going to get loads of Inhumans. I'm
almost worried that we may not, because the show is so far off. I mean, like until the fall, so I don't want because they didn't reveal anything they didn't reveal like Funkos for the Netflix shows before they came out. So I'm almost worried we may not get any Funkos for Inhuman. But if they do, I mean, I'm gonna buy Black Bolt. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Let's. I'll go on, Alyssa.
If we're done with exclusives, I did want to just mention a couple of things to people. If we've got the time, if you are still looking for a hotel room, this morning we've had people say that Renaissance in San Diego downtown is available, as is the space at the Hampton Inn. And in addition to that, the Wyndham Bayside is available. So those are while they're not they're not downtown, the top 5 hotels, they are downtown and not in Mission Valley. So I wanted just to give everybody a heads up that that hotels do pop up if you're interested. And the other thing, yes, I am sounding kind of parental with this. SDCC Fit, add some strength training. Add some strength training to this.
I'm gonna start this now that teasing is finally over. Leonard, you look fine. Stop. I'm definitely gonna start getting on that a little bit. Trying to get.
Yeah. Just go for a walk. Go for a walk. Try to push it a little bit in terms of the speed or the bike. Oh, here's goes Leonard.
Melissa, what do you do? Lenny, you look fine. Get back.
I do what I'm told.
Yeah. But if you add a little bit of strength training to it, you bounce up your metabolic rate and you lose weight faster. So, and you feel stronger. So get out for a walk today if people can.
Follow SDCC Fit, not only the hashtag but also the account on Twitter as well. Absolutely.
You will notice it. If you start today, you will notice it by San Diego.
Yeah. Absolutely right. We're going to talk about the week in TV as usual, but I want to now go to Ali because she wants to talk about a show that she's seen. I'd like you to tell me about this thing, considering that I've never heard of it. I don't know what channel it's going to be on or whether we're going to get it in the UK, but just from what you were saying before we came on air, I'm intrigued as hell. What's this thing that you've seen?
Well, I live in Austin, and they test run a lot of things out of the Alamo Draft House, this is their headquarters. And this really weird screening came up for the public, not the press, for a sci-fi show that's coming out soon called Blood Drive. And it's being touted as the most violent ever air on a cable network. And I've seen it, and let me tell you, it's a grindhouse TV style show that's going to be on a sci-fi channel. It's crazy. They are going to feature some kind of crazy grindhouse theme. The one episode I saw featured cannibals. So think of that. Remember that movie where they race across the country in cars? I forget the name, but you know what I'm talking about. Well, these cars don't run on gasoline; they run on blood.
Oh Lord!
And when they open the hoods of the cars, they're like eating machines, and they throw bodies into the hoods of the cars, and the cars grind it up, and then the car has energy again. And there's some other crazy things that go on. But I got to tell you about a character that's on the show, and he is the guy who was on that USA alien show with Noah Weil. What was that called, you guys?
Falling Skies.
Fallen Skies. Okay, he plays a character on this TV show where he wears a top hat. He's like a ringmaster of the race, and he talks with the most incredible deep voice. I'm trying to find the soundbite so I could show him how crazy different and he looks and acts. He's a totally different person, and I can't wait for people to see the show, despite it being so gory and nuts. It's called Blood Drive, and it's going to be on Sci-Fi, and I think it's coming out in a month, so look for it, but it's not for everybody.
It's airing on the Sci-Fi channel on June 14th.
We're less than a week away.
Yeah, I'll be talking about it in next week in TV show. But I've seen adverts for it, and yes, it absolutely looks. So it looks somewhat campy. Was that your impression of the first one, or was it a little bit more just horror gory?
Full blown gore.
Well, it does go there with the camp, but not like the old school Batman and Robin Pow kind of camp. Yeah. It's got hardcore sex camp. Okay. It's got masochism. It's got cannibalism.
Okay, I don't know what kind of camps you went to as a kid.
Oh my God!
I don't know how it's even on TV.
Yeah, adult entertainment, and it is on the Sci-Fi channel. It is on at 10 p.m. on the East Coast. So it's a late night, definitely. It sounds very adult kind of thing.
I am quite liking a couple of the comments that are coming in on the Q&A. Is this kind of like some messed up Hanna-Barbera wacky races? That's...
You got to go back to that Robert Rodriguez Grindhouse movie that he was taking from 70s movies. It's like that, but cool. More.
So, well, Super Catchick says it sounds a little bit like Death Race, in which case it's right in her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I was a fan of that as well. I was a big fan of Cars Who Ate Paris, that kind of vibe. Yeah, I'm down with it.
The only show in sci-fi I'm going to be paying attention to this coming season is Krypton.
Not Dark Matter or Killjoys or
I love Aaron Ashford, but I'm just watching so much TV. I have to be very selective.
Okay, because
that's why I don't watch anything apart from The Simpsons.
God,
it just makes life so much easier.
Are you effing kidding me? You're still watching The Simpsons?
Yes. I'm one of those few people that's allowing it to continue going.
Okay. You do you, girl. You do you.
Okay. Next week in television, we start off with the summer TV series. It's a great week to like the sci-fi stuff. We start off tonight with Fear of the Walking Dead, followed by Talking Dead. Then we get.
I was going to say is Hardwick back?
Yep, he is, and I believe he's doing Talking Dead after all of the shows, at least through Fear. I got the impression that they were going to expand Talking Dead, the Talking series, to go into more of the shows that AMC does. We also get on the Sci-Fi Channel, I think next Friday or Saturday night, Dark Matter and Winona Earp are coming back for their third and second season respectively. So now's the time to binge Winona Earp if you haven't so far, because yes, that's what I'm going to be doing this week, is binging Winona Earp, because a few people have said so many good things about it. I think it's one of those shows that I'm missing. Orange is the New Black is coming back if you're into more mainstream stuff on Netflix, and Orphan Black, the 5th season, is starting up. So that you got to check a lot of things on your DVR this week to make sure they're recording.
Can I plug a show, by the way?
What was the show? Oh, go on.
There's also the 2-hour season finale of Gotham on Fox.
And then there's that too. So it's huge. It's a huge week in television. We start off with the summer season. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of adverts for Blood Drive during the Dark Matter and Winona Earp on Friday. So you'll get to see a little taste of the preview of it. Perhaps there'll be more PG rated. It sounds like R-rated, that we will get in the real show. So that's where to go. Preacher, let's see. I think Preacher is happening later on. This is just next week in television. I think we're going to get Preacher. We get Face Off. I mean, I could go through. I'm going to be putting in a summer list of shows that are happening, but Preacher isn't coming back until the end of June. So we are going to be putting out a preview for some of the highlights of the summer season. Hopefully this next week. I work in conjunction with Kevin, Doctor Who 42 on these, and try and get them in some sort of a format that's just not a list of statistics, which is what I would end up putting out, and people will get bored and not read it. So Kevin is
dare I ask, because I know that a lot of people were passionate about this show, which I completely missed. What was the show that was cancelled this week? There was
Sense8.
Sense8.
Yes, the JMS Michael Straczynski show. I mispronounced the name. Sorry.
I think is it J. Michael Straczynski?
Yes.
Yeah.
JMS.
He's great.
Yeah. I think it's going to be. Yeah. Sorry, there's a bit of chat going on in the background. Don't worry. Just to quickly go through, Preacher has been. We've got people who are checking on the chat room. That's coming back on June 25th. Mac Phantom saying June 19th. So around that kind of ballpark. Okay. Okay. Right. And also, we had somebody asking about Mr. Robot and whether that's coming back. The series has been renewed for a 10-episode third season to set premiering in October 2017. It's very possible that that will be represented at Comic-Con this year. All of the shows that we've been talking about, I can imagine, will be getting a presence at Comic-Con. Possibly even Class as well, the writer of the first season. Was it the first 2 seasons, sorry, of Class, did announce today on Twitter that he will not be returning for a third, purely because of the way that the BBC are treating the show here in the UK. They still haven't committed to a next season, and it's going to be looking like, if it even happens, it's going to be 2019 by the time it even comes out. The way that they're treating, but I know that BBC America and the American audience absolutely loves Class. Alyssa was asking me about the show last week. At the end of the day, it just hasn't stuck the landing here in the UK. So at the end of the day, this is where it's filmed, and whether that American audience is enough for it to return is going to be interesting. I'm going to be paying very close attention to the social media for Class this year.
Could they do something like what they did with Torchwood season 4 when Stars like co-produced that 4th season?
Yeah, I think it's very possible, like Torchwood as well, when they did a co-American production. That may be the only way that it's.
Yeah, I don't know like how the rights thing work. It's like if BBC America would have to buy the rights from BBC in the UK, or if it's like, you know, like if they would have to get it. I just want Torchwood back, you guys. I'm so like I got so pissed at BBC America, like, we're doing a marathon of Torchwood. I'm like, just give me freaking season 5. I don't like, just give me season 5. Give me closure. Give me John Barrowman in a freaking coat of him again.
I don't want John Barrowman on any television show at all. I just want him to appear on stage every week and someone just to film it. That's all we need.
You don't like Captain Jack Harkness?
I love Captain Jack. I love everything. I love everything he's done. But I want him on stage just talking nonsense for an hour. That's what we love about John Barrowman.
You can do both. I need my closure.
Excellent stuff. So I think that's pretty much all of us for this week. Thank you very much indeed for watching and for joining us. Next week, we're going to be joined by Mr. Mark Serby, who's going to be coming along. And hopefully, we're going to have a special guest to talk about the Eisners as well, which should be good. Fingers crossed about that. So let's go down the line and say thank you very much indeed to my guests, to Ali Hanley. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Where can people find you and your work online?
I am a writer for Geekscape. I cover film and certain television shows like American Gods. And you can always catch me on Twitter at Hall H. Hooker.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. As always, it's been a pleasure to have Andy joining us as well. Thank you so much, Andy. Where can people find... Okay, take a deep breath now. Where can people find you and your work online?
People can find me on my public Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages at Andy Behbakht. Behbakht is spelled Behbakht, and I am a senior writer here at Hollywood. I host the Flash podcast and the newly announced Titans podcast. It's going to be dedicated to the new Teen Titans show on the DC streaming service, whatever the name shall be. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Mall Report. They haven't given a name. It's all that, like, DC's untitled streaming service. I'm like, just give it a name. I'm an editor-in-chief of the Mall Report, and I also oversee the whole DC TV Podcast Network at dcpodcast.com. If I may just quickly plug this little event that we're doing very soon. It's for charity, so hopefully it's okay. But on Saturday, June 17th,
Right, thank you very much indeed, Andy. It's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you.
I'm a media mogul. I have to talk. That you put a title on me now. No, but on Saturday, June 17th, me, the Flash Podcast, and several of the shows on the DC Podcast Networks with Core Podcast, Supergirl Radio, Legends of Tomorrow Podcast, DC Films Podcast, Eyes on Radio, and many more. We're going to be teaming up with the World Wildlife Fund Organization for charity, our third charity event. That's where we're going to be doing a podcast marathon for about 8 to 10 hours, depending on how much we do to raise money for this great cause. So we're going to have more information actually this coming week. So people can say, just keep an eye on dcpockets.com and at dcpockets on Twitter. I would really appreciate that because it's a good cause.
Excellent stuff. Bravo to you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. And breathe. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't breathe through that whole thing.
And last but not least, Alyssa, where can people find you and your work online?
My Twitter account is at Friends of CCI, and people can find me on my website, friendsofcc.com.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed. My name's been Leonard Sultana, and that's been Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. You can find me online at Englishman SDCC. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, all the usual stuff and nonsense. But you can also find me on YouTube, and it may be worthwhile doing a subscription to the YouTube channel, especially considering that next weekend on the Saturday, I'm going to be at the ICE International Comics Expo in Brighton, which is going to take a long drive down, but it's going to be a real fun day, some really great content and some fantastic creators. And I'm also going to be moderating a Q&A panel. We've got Alessandro Vitti, who's a Marvel artist. He's done Iceman. He's just at the Iceman issue 1 for the new run starts this week. He's the core artist for that. He's coming over to the UK for a rather rare visit, and I'm going to be moderating the Q&A panel and live streaming it. So it's going to go up on YouTube. We're going to have the cameras set up. We're going to be basically streaming the Q&A panel live. So if you want to join in, that's Alessandro Vitti. Go check out his work this week as well. But we'll be basically doing a Q&A panel where we go back to all of his roots, about his influences, his process, and I think it's going to be a real fun Q&A panel. That's at ICE Brighton next week. And of course, we're back next Sunday. We've got Mark Serb joining us and a special guest who we can announce throughout the course of the week. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it. Do take care. And we'll see you next Sunday.
You could support us.
If you feel like throwing a few shekels our way, by all means, you can go to patreon.com/EnglishmanSDCC. Just throw some pennies our way.
It sounds so dirty.
Oh, what? It's a currency, sir. It's a currency. Englishman, patreon.com, Englishman SDCC. Take care, everybody, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.